The Hate Army stands with you thick and thin.
Hate Army General, your name is Hate Army?
Shout out to Hate Army.
You're saying Hate Army shit.
Hate Army shout out.
Good vibes to the Hate Army.
Shout out for hate.
I got a $1 tip. Now, this is an interesting question. Thoughts on dudes who pretend to be girls in chat and online? That's a bit odd, right? You know, my honest take on that is, it is a bit weird to me, but there's so many people who've done it. Like, even since the era of the internet becoming a social platform, the 90s, in the 1990s, when people started using chat rooms and chat clients, when people were using things like AOL Instant Messenger and Microsoft Messenger, there were people who would make up totally, fake accounts to pretend to be something they're not. And I guess it really depends on the level that it goes. All right. And allow me to explain what I mean by that. I guess there's nothing wrong with innocently making an account and just saying, I want to pretend to be someone else. It's a fantasy, right? It's not meant to be serious. It's just meant to be, here's my online persona. It's a joke or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But there's definitely something weird and wrong with someone who creates a whole online persona of something that doesn't exist and then catfishes others into believing it's real. Like, I just don't get that at all. I had a moderator like that once. If you guys aren't aware, it was many years ago at this point. But I had a moderator who was pretending to be a girl online, created a whole persona around being this online girl who was a fan of Chrono Trigger, and basically was in my chat for several years, talking under this persona, about a year and a half, I would say, talked in my chat under this persona of being this person. Everyone told everyone the story of who they were and everything. And then after having been a fan for a while, when we were looking for moderators and stuff, volunteered. And again, this was someone who everyone knew and was friendly with and thought, oh, this is fine. And everyone thought they were a nice person. So I made them a moderator. And they were a moderator for about a year, maybe even a little longer than a year. And during that year, there was never really any signs or inklings that this person was a malicious party or anything like that. But it was weird because absolutely there was sometimes behind the scenes conversations that I would have with my moderation team, and somehow all of a sudden people would publicly know about it. It's like, how would you know what we talked about behind the scenes? We're talking about things that have to do with trolls and stuff coming into chat and how to deal with it, and other dramatic things going on behind the scenes that moderators need to be aware of. Oh, this meme is on the internet now, it's stupid, so be aware of it, this is what it might be, blah, blah, blah. So how the hell is the public aware of it? Because this person was leaking the information the entire time. Anytime we had a private conversation, they would leak it to the trolls and detractors. It's like, that's messed up, right? So then come to find out, after about doing this for about like a year, right, this person basically realized there was really nothing behind the scenes happening that was going to get me in trouble. So instead, what they were planning to do was actually try to get me banned from Twitch. So, now you have an idea how long ago this was. This is when I was starting my full-time streaming on Twitch. And what they did back then, no one has this ability anymore. But back then, moderators on my Twitch streams used to have control over my bots. So they would actually be able to set up commands and set up, things that Nightbot, and there was another one too, MooBot. We had two of them. So the moderators would be able to control the bots. So what this person actually did, and no, this is not Anonymous. That was another situation, a totally other situation. This is someone else before that, okay? This person, one night, went into the Nightbot commands and set up a bunch of new custom commands that were either detractor memes or actual, bad racist stuff. And what their plan to do was when I turned on the stream, unbeknownst to me, there was going to be all these new commands, and they were going to come in with a bunch of trolls and tell everyone to keep spamming the command things to get my whole chat filled with either detractor stuff or racist stuff and try to get me banned from Twitch. So, luckily for me, this got caught ahead of time, okay? And we caught the thing. We actually could look at logs. So I don't know why they didn't think they were going to get caught, because there's logs of anyone who does anything with the bots. Who changed everything. So we had definitive evidence of who had done it. And we just said, all right, well, goodbye. And we removed them as a moderator and kicked them out of the community. But literally, no exaggeration, 2 years, this person had made up a fake personality that they were not female, but they pretended to be. They were not the person they said they were. Who even knows if they were even a fan of Chrono Trigger? They might have made the whole thing, the whole persona was completely fabricated for 2 years. Think about how long it takes to waste 2 years of your life to do that deep of a covert ops move. And then, and then on top of it, just to fail at it. That's the best part, is after 2 years of work, they literally did nothing and failed and got caught and kicked out of the community anyway. But do you see the point I'm making? Like, there's a difference between, I have a silly online persona, I pretend to be something I'm not, it's just for fantasy purposes, it harms no one. Then you got these people who are just like catfishers. Like, they literally do these situations to try to set people up and hurt them. I've heard of situations where people pretended to be like a woman, and then they would try to seduce a guy online and try to get them to send them money or try to get them to like confess all kinds of personal shit just to crush them later. To be revealed this was not a person who you even thought it was, right? Didn't we watch something like that at one point? A situation where it was like a middle-aged woman who was doing this to a guy, and he thought that she was like a 20-year-old girl in college, and you come out, it was like a 40, 50-year-old woman who was catfishing the guy all along. Like, what was the point? You knew you were never going to be with that guy. He had a notion of who you were, that you lied. You fooled him, right? And now his life is messed up because he's been spending all this time on notions of romance and stuff with a person who doesn't exist. It's sick stuff, man. I don't get it. I don't get that at all. Maybe there's some kind of a feeling of power, manipulation that people get out of it, that they feel like, oh, this is something worth my time. But to me, it's just kind of like, that's sick stuff, right? That is. To me, that just sounds wrong. Imagine, I'm serious about this. Imagine wasting 2 years of your life. Every day you're online pretending to be someone you're not. A different gender, a whole different life, a different person. Someone who you're completely not. What on earth are you doing with your life? 2 years of your life wasted? Like, what are you doing? I just don't get that. There was once a 70-year-old man who sent $500,000 to a fake person he thought it was a model. Dark Angel says, romance scammers are insane. One of my friends was a recent victim of a romance scammer, lost over $500, so they sent it to the scammer. Wow. That's, man. That's just bad, man. Really, like, that's, if anything, I mean, that should teach you. You just cannot trust the things you learn and see on the internet at all, right? Like, even if you talk to someone literally every day, you don't even know if it's real, you know? Okay.